on to real drummers. Sleeper Spotlight.
Sleeper Spotlight.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with this segment, we introduce a drummer that y'all are sleeping on. And then we'll get Adam's opinions, impressions, and constructive criticism, if any.
Yes, sir.
First up,
we got
Stefano Rudolini.
Stefano. First video from him. Let's pop it up. What you got, brother Stefano? Trickyostinato. I'm lost. You win this one, Stefano.
Oh, man.
Man, so good, so good. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle is what it is. And there are some really fun... I've only done this a handful of times where, like, I've written a puzzle and practiced it where it's like that is probably only useful in like one or two songs in the world, exactly as it is. But in working out the puzzle where it's 4-limb independence, each limb has its own little thing to work out. It's kind of nice because it makes practice easy. Like, you know exactly what you have to do. So you might spend several hours working out just the hands, and then you have to bring in one of the feet, and it's a whole puzzle, and you're just kind of assembling pieces together. And when you're done, it looks something like this, right? It's like an ostinato puzzle. But it's cool, man. I do feel like you gain something by doing that. It's not just like a drummer game. It's like you do get some weird independence out of it. But what I love about this is that it's representative of really intense practice. Like, you just have to sit down and do the work.
Yeah, he didn't wake up that morning and he went, I'm going to play this pattern exactly and I'm going to get the recording down.
Yeah.
Hours and hours of like, oh, God, muscle memory.
You know who's got a big collection of these is Johnny Mathar.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a big collection of those, just like little puzzles that he's worked out. And I do think they serve your playing. I think you could get lost in the weeds on them where you're just working on something that's so obscure and all you have at the end of it is like this weird little thing that you can play. But I've done a few of them with like samba stuff before, and it's weird, man. They do impact your playing in a positive way. But that was really impressive. I mean, we'd have to watch that many more times to fully grasp what was going on. But just the ostinato alone was very tricky. I don't know exactly what that ostinato was, but with the splash close built in there, I mean, he started off quite difficult. That was sick. That was sick.
Sweet. We got another one from him.
All right, another one from Stefano. Little JD Beck vibe.
Yeah.
Very JD Beck. Such a specific style too. That's why I say that JD Beck thing. It's a tough style to describe exactly what's going on in a style like that, because it's weird. It's almost like you make the tempo very low and the subdivision very high. So like it's just active phrasing in quick 30-second notes, but it's not fully chopped out because that's kind of like the substrate of the groove is still in there. Right? But when you have that many notes, there's a lot of like malleability in the groove where you can sort of you can do all these weird things within the subdivision when the subdivision has that many notes inside of it. And it's just this weird combination of like kind of choppy, but also really, really groovy. Like there's still this static substrate of notes that never really changes. And so it does have like the repetition of a groove where you can kind of get into a feel. But there's so much play inside of it because of the amount of notes that they're using with a high subdivision and a slow tempo. So it's cool, man. It allows for a lot of phrasing. But it's hard to unpack because it's like, well, so many things just happened in 30 seconds that like, it's not like as cut and dry as someone who like plays a groove and then plays like a 30-second note chop. Like there's a lot more busyness to it. It's a very complicated substrate is the word I keep coming back to, but Yeah, man, really, really good playing. It's such a specific style. I would love to know, Stefano, what are your influences? Like, who do you listen to build in that style? I think JD Beck would be a safe one.
His caption on that video was like ending out a practice session with JD Beck vibes.
Gotcha.
I literally think that was the one, so I laughed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, JD Beck is one of the guys that has really popularized that specific type of playing. I would be curious to know who JD Beck's influences are. Like, who would he cite as his own influences, right? Interesting. Man, that was killer. Absolutely. How many followers does he have? Do we know?
Under 10,000.
Under 10,000.
Sure.
Man, goodness gracious. Well, an absolute sleeper. Go check him out. That was killer.
Yeah, go check out Stefano. And now we got Ty Ellender.
Ty Ellender.
Yeah.
First video from him. We got some wild notation happening here. Let's see.
Ooh.
Pretty Ludwig. Oh, what a nightmare to notate this. Man, really, really clean playing for sure. There was some advanced phrasing hidden in there too. I felt like he was tricking me at certain points because it started out really, really simple and then went like the complexity just ramped up as we went on there for sure. Interesting, pretty kit too. Ludwig, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a vintage sounding kit, but not vintage playing. He was very modern in a lot of his playing for sure. So it's kind of a weird hybrid, right? I mean, he's got all like zillion Ks, kind of a classic legendary cymbal sound, and then like an older kit with an older sound, but then we got bludgeons all over the place and some very complex playing. I am curious, Ty, did you improvise this playing and then notate it, or did you notate this and then play it? The latter would be more impressive, I think. If you had made all of this up and notated it and then performed that would be way more impressive. So I'm guessing that this was like improvisation and then you went back and notated it. Either way, high level stuff, man. This is not, there were many advanced phrases in there for sure. The bludgeon being one of the easier ones. I mean, some of it was more of the like extending over the bar line with some of those odd groups. But man, that was really cool. High level stuff, man. High level. Let's do the next one from Ty.
Yeah.
Ooh, Rogers. Before we even play it, I just got the little thumbnail here. The Rogers Big R was my first drum set. It's the first drum set I ever had. My mom found it at a yard sale for $75. She had no idea what it was. It was the kind with the three, it had a triangle of rack toms. No kidding. It was like this one little mounting mechanism that had a 10-inch, a 12-inch up at the top, and then a 13-inch over here. So 10, 12, 13 all at the top. Or maybe it was like 12, 13, 14? I can't remember, but it had a big R. Anytime I see a big R Rogers kit, that's what it reminds me of. So excited to hear this thing. Here we go. Second one from Ty. What is on the floor, Tom? That sound. First of all, we should note his technique is so clean, very loose wrists, very, just an awesome grip. His hands just look awesome. So I want to mention that right away. Super clean. I want to know, what is the floor tom happening there? It looks like a normal head that's just totally worn out.
I think it's something metal, like a pot lid.
Maybe a pot lid, because he's got an actual pot on the rack tom, which I'm kind of disappointed. I really wanted to hear the kit, but we definitely didn't hear the kit. Or just, modified sounds across the board. Really interesting playing though, man, for sure. It's another one of those examples of like someone who is clearly into not just playing drums, he's very good at drums, but also into like the manipulation of digital sounds, right? Into audio and just getting a weird mix. And I like that, man. I think it's an interesting way to be creative, and one that is like relatively new, at least in that like the consumer, like not professionals necessarily, can get into this stuff and begin experimenting. I'm not trying to say he's not professional by any means, but I mean, even 15 years ago, the idea that you would be able to get this creative by manipulating stuff inside of a DAW and buying all sorts of like strange microphones and triggers and plugins, and like going down those rabbit holes used to be very expensive. It wasn't something that everybody could do. So I love seeing some of these guys that are just into these like audio manipulations, and it makes its way into their style. It's like part of the content that they make and what they put out. So I think it's really cool, man. But clean playing from Ty. Do we know how many followers he has?
Very little. Very little. I know he has a
Interesting.
YouTube channel and an Instagram, so check both of those out.
Check him out, man.
Yeah.
Awesome player. Just very, very clean.
Cool.
Good ones, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Stefano and Ty.
Yes, sir.
And if you have any sleepers that you think we're sleeping on or everybody else is sleeping on, email me at chris@orlandodrummer.com, comment below.
We will roast them up.
Yes.
Thank you for watching this clip of the Orlando Drummer Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for more content like this, including some of my master classes, lesson packs, interviews with other pro drummers, individual chops and grooves, drumless play-alongs, all sorts of stuff, you can find all of that at the link in the description on orlandodrummer.com. You can try it out for 7 days for free to see if you like it. I think you will.